Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be checking back in on this mother bin. If you guys watched about 7 days ago, we had gone through this bin, and it was actually while I was setting a new breeder bin. I was pulling out 200 worms from here, and I realized that the worms were much smaller than I was used to having in here. Admittedly, okay, there's a lot of juveniles in here, but I realized that they weren't as fat as they usually would be. I have to take into account the fact that I did take out 250, 350 adult worms, full-size worms from here, to set for breeder bins and for the worm farm starter kit. I also sold a couple of hundred worms, but I actually just this morning I just pulled out another 150 worms from this bin. But I have been feeding them chow over the last couple of days. So if you haven't watched the last video, the issue was that because I was trying to bait the worms out of here when I was gonna do harvest and sift the castings, I used two different methods, and I wasted about 10 days. And during those 10 days, I wasn't feeding the bin or the worms that much as I would usually do. So I realized that my worms were looking slightly thinner than I would usually like. So I've come back and been feeding these quite well over the last week. And even though I pulled out 150 worms in here from here this morning, we're going to just go back in and just see if there's been a difference by feeding them the chow this week. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to just give this a little fluff and see how they are. So they're getting better. You can see there's definitely well, if you guys can't see, but I can definitely tell that there is a difference in the girth of the adult worms, and even some of the more juvenile worms are slightly healthier looking. They're looking what's the correct term that I can use? They're looking big boned, should I say. So yeah, they're definitely putting on some weight, which is a good sign. I do have to report though, today was a sad day. For the first time in all of my time worm farming, I had some escapees. My wife came out to me earlier on this afternoon and said, you've got worms on the floor. And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, there's definitely a couple dead, but there's some that are still moving. So I rushed out here, obviously, and lo and behold, there were probably about a dozen worms that had escaped from one of the breeder bins. I fixed that though. This was the white breeder bin that I had used in the last reset. The issue was the bedding literally was almost half a centimeter above the rim of the bin of the tub, and I was like, oh, they'll be fine, and they've been great all week. And today, for some reason, they all decided to leave, and I'm not sure why. So I fixed that. I've put them into a deeper bin. Hopefully they won't come out again. But I have to tell you, nothing smells worse than dead worms. It's not a nice thing to encounter. I didn't pick it up earlier, but when I came back in just now to record this video, I could smell them, and I was like, oh, you poor bastards. So definitely not feeling very good about the dozen or so that got out. But luckily, half a dozen of them were still limp and alive, so they got put back into the bins. And like I said, I've rectified that. So I've only got one glove on at the moment, but I'm gonna just continue giving this a fluff. You can see the amount of baby worms still in here. They're still doing great. I'd like to add, by the way, that the breeder bin, there was no issues with moisture in it. The moisture level was quite good. I as I was emptying out and transferring it into the other bin, there was no issues with it. I just think because there was more than an inch or 2 inches of, less than an inch of space for them from the top, they just felt, I suppose they just felt easy enough to take a little trip to see what was going on elsewhere. So I definitely won't be making that mistake again, and I will definitely be rectifying my bin situation as soon as I can. Yeah, so that's that. So they definitely look better. They're making great, I can see that these guys are already turning this bedding into castings. Loads of baby worms. The population in this bin is about to explode again, which is good. So I might split them up once I get the bin situation sorted. I'll just put it into 4 separate bins and go from there. But yeah, these guys look good. I had a lovely young lady, South African lady, and her husband come to me this morning, or this afternoon should I say, who's just getting into vermiculture. So she took 150 worms from us this morning. So I'm hoping, I'm excited to see her progress and her journey. It's always nice when you get to meet the people, because Dubai is quite a small place. On a couple of occasions I've just shipped stuff and not met them, but generally people come and pick stuff up. So it's always nice to meet people and to see what their motivation is to start to get into worm farming or to start composting, which is quite nice. And she doesn't have much space. She's in an apartment. She used to be on a farm in Oman, which is just a neighbouring country for us here, and she's getting into it. So it was nice. It was nice to hear what her ambitions are as far as keeping stuff out of the landfill and composting her food scraps. I don't know why I've just done that. I'm not giving them a feed. I'm literally just that's why. I'm going to be giving them worm chow and then mixing this up again. So that's. I'm really sorry. My brain is elsewhere today. For some reason, I'm still a little bit like heartbroken for those 6 or 7 worms. You end up getting a connection with your little guys, so it hurts sometimes when they decide to do something or something goes wrong. Or as you guys know from me, sometimes I not neglect them, but some shit happens and the bin's a bit dry or something happens and I feel a little bit guilty. There's some fresh worm chow. I made some the other day. The great thing about this is it lasts me forever. It really doesn't. It takes me about 5 minutes to make, and I'm quite lucky. Obviously, being a chef, I've got a whole bunch of the ingredients always sitting in the pantry. So I'm giving these guys a nice healthy feed. I'm just going to mix it into their bedding. There we go. And good news, we're only a few days away from pulling stuff out of our breeder bin, and then a few days after that our second new breeder bin, which I didn't do a video of the setup, but I will start doing videos of those guys. That's a bigger bin. That's got 200 breeders in it instead of 100 breeders. Which is quite cool. There we go. That's a nice mix. The moisture level in this bin is quite good actually. I can't complain. I'm going to give it some moisture today, definitely, just because the temperatures are really starting to rack up now here, and even though I'm not turning on the AC in here, it's quite humid. Okay, sprouts go in. Cover those guys up, and they're going to get a decent watering. I don't have any fear of these guys jumping out of this bin. When it was first set up, the level of this bin was a lot higher than it was. The only thing I am going to do is I'm going to start adding some shredded cardboard. I should receive my shredder tomorrow, which is amazing. I've been waiting for one for ages, but at the moment I'm just being tight, and I wasn't prepared to go out and buy, you know, spend $200 on a brand new shredder. So I decided that I would wait and try and get an old one for second hand, and I found some online, but they were still quite expensive, like still $100 for a second hand one, an old second hand one. And I managed to get the guy down. I love a good haggle, so got the guy down to literally about $10, which was amazing. And yeah, so I'll get it tomorrow. That should be awesome. What's going on with my water thingamajiggy? It's been having some issues. Nice little water, nice moisture. Guys are happy. So yeah, I'm going to start adding some more cardboard, shredded cardboard, and I intend on starting a new bin which is going to be purely shredded cardboard as the bedding. Cardboard with some grit and maybe a few coffee grinds to get it going, and then see how these guys get on with that. But yeah, that's it. Guys, as always, please leave me comments down below. I want to hear from you. I want to know where you're from, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and just say hi if you want to just say hi. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You know what to do. Show your boy some love, ring that notification bell. I want to hear from you, as always, and you guys keep me going. I really want to just continue making these videos for you guys, and I'm hoping you're finding them useful. And if you have any advice for me, that is also very welcome. Be good as always, big love, and speak to you soon.